Tina from tinanews.com. So don't forget to check out my site. And if you're new to this broadcast, please don't forget to check out my other videos. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And let me know what you think of my videos. So this video is about Rohini Nakshatra. Okay, the fourth nakshatra. I've already done the previous nakshatras like Bharani, Ashwini, the first one, Bharani and Kritika. So please check those out if you have interest in studying the nakshatras. And if you are a Rohini native, then this is your video. I will break down for you the most fundamental energies of Rohini and explain to you how this might interact with your physical, spiritual, and mental body. Now, Rohini spans from 10 degrees to 2320 of sidereal Taurus. Okay, sidereal Taurus, which is again ruled by Venus, right? And Rohini is ruled by Moon, and the deity of Rohini is Prajapati or Brahma. Now, I've explained to you that once, during your daily spiritual practices, remembering the your nakshatra devata can really be beneficial for you, okay, to bring balance. The moon is emotions, as I explained before. Thank you. As I explained before, that Bharani is actually the apex of moon's energy. Moon is exalted at 3 degrees of Taurus, but anyway, in the whole sign of Taurus, the moon is exalted, right? Although this is not the apex of the moon's energy, but the moon is very, very active. It's a ruler of this particular nakshatra, which is known as the star of ascent. The star of ascent. The Shakti of Rohini is Rohana Shakti. Okay, in India, in fact, Rohan is quite a common name. Okay, and Rohana Shakti is the ability to grow, the ability to fertilize, the ability to create is Rohana Shakti. From there we have the name Rohini, the scarlet colored one or the red one. Rohini is known as the red one, right? Now, there are 4 padas in each nakshatra, as I've already explained. So each pada deals with a particular theme. Themes are Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. So if you have a particular planet or in a particular pada, it will react differently because its motivation is different. However, each pada is actually a navamsa. So there are 4 navamsas in a nakshatra. And in Rohini, we have Aries Navamsa, then we have Taurus Navamsa, then Gemini Navamsa, and Cancer Navamsa. So it's very easy to understand that in Aries Navamsa, Mars brings in his specific energy, Mangal brings in his specific energy, and interacts with the moon. And of course, interacts with Venus, because Venus is ultimately the ruler of Taurus, right? So we have in the Taurus Taurus Navamsa, we have Venus coming in very strong, because Venus rules the pada and Venus interacts with the moon, which are both feminine energies, by the way. Although in Vedic astrology they are known as male energies, but there's a female Shakti energy to both Venus as well as the moon. Okay. Now, in the Gemini Navamsa, it's Mercury bringing in his particular wit, his particular communication skills, adding it to Venus, adding it to Moon, because Moon rules this nakshatra, right? So, of course, you understand the rulership of the Moon of this particular nakshatra, although it's not really rulership. Prajapati or Brahma rules this nakshatra. But when we speak about a particular planet ruling a particular nakshatra, it means that nakshatra draws energy from the moon. This nakshatra in question right now. Okay. So here we have Mercury bringing in his particular brand of energies during the Gemini Navamsa. Then we have the Cancer Navamsa, which becomes a double moon and Venus energy, because the ruler of Cancer is the moon. And Rohini is ruled by the moon. So we have a double moon and we have Venus. when we talk about the fourth Navamsa, okay, which is Cancer Navamsa. Now, immediately we come to exaltation. Thank you. All this, yeah, I completely agree. And I'm so glad you guys are listening, because this wisdom is actually timeless, and it transcends all barriers of language, all barriers of human understanding. It's ancient. It is ancient Vedic knowledge from the Indus Valley civilization, which is possibly one of the oldest civilizations in this particular reality right now, this Manvantara. Okay, so again, let's talk about exaltation. So we have Sun exalted in the Aries Navamsa. Obviously, the Sun is exalted in Aries. We have the Moon exalted in Taurus Navamsa. Obvious, the Moon is exalted in Taurus. Then we move to Gemini. Rahu is exalted in Gemini. So we have Rahu exalted in the third pada, and we have Jupiter exalted, Jupiter or Brihaspati exalted in the fourth pada. So what does this mean? This means that if you say have your Rahu in the Gemini Navamsa, then that means your Rahu is strong, because this is a point of exaltation. Okay, so your Rahu is able to draw the correct planetary rays, right? Now, debilitated, we know Saturn is debilitated in Aries. So immediately in Aries Navamsa, Saturn is debilitated. So if you have that Saturn in Rohini Nakshatra in Pada 1, it's a difficult Saturn. It's debilitated, heavily debilitated. Okay, Mars is debilitated in the Taurus Navamsa. Sorry for the sound. Okay. Now Mars is debilitated in the Taurus Navamsa. Why? Because the polarity of Taurus is Scorpio, and Mars is debilitated thereby here. And Ketu is debilitated in the Gemini Navamsa. So if you have a Ketu in Rohini on this Navamsa, in this Navamsa, then it's a difficult Ketu. Okay, and if you have your ascendant in Rohini, Pada 3, and you have that Ketu on that, that's a especially difficult Ketu to balance. Okay, so this is how we draw significations and we understand. We come at a sort of an astrological meaning. Astrology is science, art, as well as intuitive cognition, you know. It sort of gives you the tools to understand reality, because everything has been finally created by planetary rays. The solidification of planetary rays. Remember that. Now, moon, I explained how moon rules Rohini, right? So Rohini comes from Ruh. The root word, the etymology of Rohini comes from Ruh. Okay? Ruh means to rise, to grow, to prosper. Okay? So every time I say Ruh, I'm always reminded of Gulzar Saab's poetry. Ruh dekhi hai kabhi. It's beautiful. You must listen to it. Although in Urdu, Ruh means something completely different. It means the soul. So we have Ruh from the root word Ruh, to grow, to fecundate, to produce, to prosper. And Rohini is the star of ascent. So we understand that there is an upward spiral. However, Rohini also has its descending vibration, which I'll get to. Now, Rohini is the red one, the saffron colored one, the growing one. And Rohini is also known as Gandha, which means fragrant or perfumed. Why? I'll tell you. Because Prithvi Tattva is Gandha Tattva, smell Tattva, olfactory nerves. So Rohini, there's something about Rohini natives. They love good smells. Again, there's of course a huge connection to food and agriculture and plant growing. Okay, but there's something about Rohini that differs from Bharani, because Bharani is also very similar: agriculture, growing, fertility. But this particular nakshatra, there's something about smell. Smell is important to Rohini natives. Okay, of course, if you say have your moon nakshatra is Rohini, and you have the very conflicted moon, then you may smell bad, because I said energy works dualistically. Just because you have a placement in Rohini does not mean you will smell good. It could very well mean the opposite in some cases. Alright, so smell is important in Rohini Nakshatra. Now, astronomically, 5 stars make Rohini Nakshatra. 5 stars. In Greek mythology, they are the 5 daughters of Atlas, okay, as well as the 5 stars of Hyades constellation, and the sisters of Pleiades, which is Kritika Nakshatra, right? I made a video on Kritika, so check that out. Now, the sisters, the 5 sisters in the Greek myths, they were placed by Zeus. He placed them in the sky, right? Amongst the stars. The main star of Rohini is Aldebaran. Aldebaran, which is also known as Alpha Tauri, one of the brightest stars of Taurus constellation, Aldebaran, okay? It is the brightest star of Rohini. I'll have to make a separate video on that. But yeah, let's understand a bit more about Aldebaran, the fixed star. So Robson says, Aldebaran gives enthusiasm, intelligence, eloquence, and public honors. But there can also be sickness and violence. So the energy of Rohini, there's a lot of, upward spiral to this. There's, enthusiasm, intelligence, as well as the very eloquent way they speak. They also have a beautiful countenance and a smiling disposition. Okay, they're always smiling. The smile is very pleasant. You can tell a Rohini Nakshatra person immediately. Very sensual as well. The motivation of Rohini Nakshatra is moksha. Moksha is enlightenment or nirvana. Okay, what the Buddhists call nirvana. What is enlightenment? So, say a planet that is ill-placed in one of the padas and is seeking, say, artha, and it's an ill-placed planet, it's an afflicted planet, it is going to create more problems in this nakshatra because the motivation of the nakshatra overall is moksha. So there's a spiritual side to this nakshatra. It's obvious, right? The dosha is kapha. Kapha is water imbalance, water and earth, because this is Prithvi Tattva, or element is earth. So kapha doshas. In Ayurveda, we have the 3 doshas, Pitta, Vata, Kapha. So a Rohini Nakshatra individual will have kapha imbalance, okay? All kinds of water retention, all kinds of water related imbalances, even excessive weight on the body, unable to lose it. Gana is Manushya. Gana is Manushya. That means if a nakshatra's Gana is Manushya, then they are more concerned with humanitarian issues, issues that concern humanity. Okay, so they are, in a sense, always, and of course, Rohini is deeply entrenched in materialism. So they're very, very much about the earth element again, right? The element is earth. So Gana Manushya people, when the Gana is Manushya, they're concerned with human activities, human knowledge, human understanding, human cognition, things that affect us in 3D world. That is what this nakshatra is concerned about. Now the nakshatra is Urdhamukhi. It faces upwards. So immediately when you hear a nakshatra is Urdhamukhi, it means that it's a positive disposition. They are forever optimistic, positive, forward-thinking people. The deity is Prajapati or Brahma, Prajapati is also actually Uranus. So I have a mantra, I made a separate video on mantra for Uranus, so please check that out if you're interested. Now the quality of Rohini Nakshatra is Mishra, okay? Misra, that means Rohini natives can be very strong, very sharp, as well as very soft and very gentle. So there are 2 sides to this nakshatra. Like I said, that Bharani nakshatra is Ugra nakshatra, is Tibra nakshatra. Right? There's only Ugrata or sharpness, aggressiveness. But here we have the softness complementing the hardness. So that makes them very, very thank you. So that makes Rohini Nakshatra uh, dualistic individual. They can be very soft, very gentle, but if they lose it, they lose it. Okay? They literally lose it. Now, caste is Shudra. All the nakshatras are again broken up into caste systems because you immediately understand the motivation. So, a Shudra person works hard. So, immediately you understand that the natives of this nakshatra will have to work hard for their living. They're going to go upwards. It's the star of ascent, remember. But they have to work hard for whatever will come to them. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a cakewalk. The guna, not gana. Gana is manusha. Guna is rajas. I say there are three gunas again: rajas, tamas, sattva. Now tamas and sattva don't have much movement. It is rajas that brings in movement. I just spoke about how they have to work, right? So again, having this rajasic temperament means they really work. They are go-getters. They push things. Unless, of course, the nakshatra is afflicted in the kundli or in the D9 chart. That's separate. The body parts are the forehead, the ankles, the shin, and the calves. So when you're offering nyasa is touching of the body parts ritualistically, ceremonially. You have to touch these body parts to activate the energy of Rohini Nakshatra. What are they? Forehead, ankles, shin, and calves. Okay? Now, activity is balanced. In fact, Rohini Nakshatra people are always seeking balance. They solve problems by balancing things. Alright? By balancing things. The element is Prithvi. I explained to you it's Prithvi or earth. The directionality is east. So a Rohini Nakshatra person must always face east while doing their daily spiritual practices. Okay? Seed sound O, O, Va, V, Vu. So I said how in India we name children according to their nakshatras. Okay? So if you're having a child that has Rohini Nakshatra, then their name should be O, Va, V or Vu. It should start with these seed sounds. Okay. Now let's get into the mythology of Rohini. So Rohini is actually one of the 27 wives of the moon. Alright, and the moon was particularly favorable to Rohini. Okay, Rohini was a very stylish, individual, feminine goddess. She loved all this beautiful, fine clothing, luxurious things, and she had a way with her, a seductive way about her. So the moon was enthralled. Soma was enthralled by Rohini. So much so that he started to spend more time with Rohini. Okay? And then all the other wives, they got jealous and they went to Daksha Prajapati, their father, and they said that, this, that. Daksha Prajapati said, oh, this is it, this is what he's doing, he's not coming home, he's not coming to meet us. So Daksha Prajapati curses moon or Soma. Okay, and the curse is that the moon or Soma should lose all of its radiance, should not be luminous anymore. So the moon became dull, right? The moon became, of course, really upset and he didn't know what to say. And he invoked Lord Brahma, Prajapati himself. So he said that, look, Daksha Prajapati is separate, Brahma's Prajapati is separate, okay? So he invoked Brahma and he said that, okay, this is what's happened and I've been cursed by Daksha. So Brahma says that I cannot take away the curse. In fact, no one can. So this leaves the moon very dejected. So the moon begins to do excessive tapas, right? And for 10 crore times he goes and he recites the Mahamrityunjaya jap in a particular place, right? So he recites the Mahamrityunjaya jap and Shiva appears before him. And he says, what's happened to you? So he says that, look, I have lost my radiance, I have lost my luminosity. and I want it back because I have to provide generation for earth and all of this. So Shiva says that what the curse that Daksha Prajapati has given cannot be undone. However, because he did this penance, he blesses him and he removes the curse. And this is why the moon wanes and waxes. Wanes, the dark side of the moon wanes and waxes. This is the story, okay? Now, of course, Rohini was very luxurious, very fine, feminine. Of course, because after all, Rohini is the star of abundance. So Rohini natives like fine things. The decor in their house, the way they dress, the way they present themselves. They like fine things. They love cars. Rohini Nakshatra people love cars. Unless of course you're going through a Kala Sarpa, they have a Kala Sarpa Dasha in their chart, and then something's really gone off. But they love cars. Natives are very well behaved usually. Rohini natives, very well behaved, very handsome, very beautiful. They can be very, they have a level of proficiency in what they do. So they are sort of like experts in what they do. They're also very harsh critics. They'll tell you whatever they want to criticize, but in a very nice manner. Again, that countenance, that friendly disposition is very much Rohini. Okay, now very good speakers. Of course, Taurus activates Vishuddha Chakra. So immediately here you see that Rohini natives are amazing speakers, extremely good conversationalists, very well behaved, full of they have the etiquette basically, full of humility also, unless there's some kind of affliction. They can be very famous in what they do. They rise very high in their career, well known in whatever they do. They're also very religious. So if you see that a Rohini Nakshatra individual is not into spiritual practices, that means there is an affliction that needs to be corrected. Otherwise, a well-balanced Rohini native is exceptionally religious. Okay, also some of them are spiritual. There's a difference between being religious and being spiritual. However, they do tend to follow a convention. They're not very iconoclastic. Like, they don't break out of the mold. They stay in the mold and they operate through that. And they always resolve problems by balance, by the right balance, okay? Very strong, very strong connection. Wow, very strong connection with agriculture. Rohini natives have a deep connection to agriculture. If they are not, farmers conventionally, they can, they love plants in the house. They love plants around them. They take a lot of time. They're very good plant parents. Okay, Rohini Nakshatra people are amazing plant parents. Just the way they tend to their plants, just the way they look after them. It's almost as if they are their children. Now, when we think about the oxen are fertility symbols. They have strength, they have endurance. In fact, Taurus is represented by an ox. Now, in the Indus Valley civilization, the bullock cart was used, okay? It was the main form of transportation. So, obviously it was associated to abundance because, you transport wares, you do business that way, right? And natives can be exceptionally materialistic, very materialistic. Okay, Rohini natives, very materialistic. Now, Rohini primarily deals with these themes. Process of growing, begetting, birth, sexual birth, as well as, birthing a business plan or birthing something like that. They're very fertile. So fertility can be, having an issue or having a child. Could also mean that you literally create something that becomes your child. A farm, it could be, grow patches, anything, right? They always deal with production and birth. Okay, they birth new things. So immediately when we hear that Rohini is the star of ascent, we realize that it deals with the upward spiral of consciousness. Okay, and in Rohini natives, we see that there is a craving of the soul, a deep craving of the soul to see beyond materialism. I just said that they're very materialistic, right? Even if they are extremely materialistic, something in Rohini natives, if they are well balanced, if they're spiritual, they're always looking for ways to look beyond the material. Okay, look beyond the material. Now, the soul here must fertilize itself and cultivate itself as the soil. The soil needs to be fertilized. The soil needs cultivation before you grow, right? So, similarly, with the soul, the same process is applicable. So, there is cultivation of the soul, there is fertilization of the soul. Okay, and sometimes the Rohini native finds that by cultivating the soil, they cultivate their soul. Literally, a Prithvi Tattva, deep connection to the earth. A Rohini native will immediately feel peace near a tree, near vegetation, near dense foliage, canopy of trees. Okay, it's the stuff that immediately chills them out. Survival is based on food. Okay, 3D survival. If we don't eat, we can max to max survive for, I think, 5 to 7 days, right? So the gift of Rohini is food. The gift of humanity, Rohini to humanity, is food and produce. And oftentimes you will see that a Rohini individual, a Rohini native, is a big foodie. They love food. They love food. Okay, so if you're dating somebody who's a Rohini native, then you give them good food. That really impresses them. Okay, put some give them a present, give them a plant, even if it's a cactus. They'll love it. Okay, they'll lap it up. So now Agni. Okay, Agni is the instrument of Brahma. The Shakti of Brahma is Saraswati. Okay, Agni is red, fire. So that's why we see Rohini is the red one. So we immediately understand that there's a huge fiery energy to Rohini. Okay, and here Agni operates as an instrument of Brahma Prajapati, okay? So Agni is the direct cause of food. I mean, think about it, without sun, there would be no photosynthesis, there would be no food. Yeah, we are into raw foods and all that, especially me. But humans have generally, grown and evolved because of cooking, because of agriculture. The societies we have today are primarily agricultural societies. Then they became industrial. Now we are headed towards a technocratic society. But food is the base still today. You can't do without food. So Agni here not only gives power of the photosynthesis ability. Agni is also used for cooking. Terrestrial fire is used for cooking. When you cook a food and you put it in your mouth, that is literally how we consume food mostly. We cook food. So that is Agni operating directly, Agni as a direct cause of food, and Brahma Prajapati using Agni as an instrument, being the remote cause of food. Okay, being the remote cause of food, remember that. And Prajapati is the deity of Rohini. So you see how food, material, spiritual becomes very important to the Rohini native. Very, very important. Now balance is key. I explained to you, right? They create with balance. Rohini creates, Star of Ascent. So the upward spiral is through balance, okay? How nature creates with balance. Think about that. Heat and cold create something new. Light and darkness create something new, right? The plants need the night time, and then again the sun rises and there's photosynthesis. So nature creates through duality, rain and sunshine, again to dualistic principles of creation, winter and summer, right? So we sow the seeds, then we reap them at a particular time. This is how Rohini creates, by balance, okay? However, if you know a Rohini native and you see they're very, scattered, they're all over the place, that means there's something really wrong with their energy, because a Rohini native is extremely methodical, extremely calculated, extremely balanced. Balance is one of their superpowers, like literally the Rohini native. And if a Rohini native does not have balance, then their whole life falls apart. Whole life falls apart, because they have this inherent craving inside to always find balance. Now, the male cobra is the totem, is the animal totem of this nakshatra. What does it represent? It represents the profound wisdom of the nagas, or the serpent beings, semi-divine beings that live in the underworld of Patala, according to Hindu myths, right? They are the lords of the underworld. In fact, Nagas have been very beneficial protagonists in Hindu mythology. Alright, we've seen Nagas come and go many times. In the Kumbh Mela, you have a whole sector of Naga Babas, right? And they have their esoteric practices they do not reveal to anybody. Now, during Samudra Manthan, when the Samudra Manthan, the churning of Shirasagara, it was Vasuki. Now, Vasuki, who resides on Shiva's neck, right? He became the churning rope of the gods and the asuras. So, Vasuki the Naga offered himself as the churning rope. So there's sacrifice, there's secret wisdom, there's unconscious wisdom, all of this operating here. Now, the serpent also is a very common symbol in the iconography of Ganesha. Okay, we see it around his neck. We see him use it as a sacred thread. We see it wrapped around his stomach as a belt. He holds a serpent in his hand, a male cobra. We see the cobra coiled at his ankles. We also see, serpents forming thrones, right? So the serpent is a very important symbol in Sanatan Dharma. It's not evil. It's not tempting male, female to have an apple and be thrown out of paradise. But it is imbuing us, it is imbibing within us deep wisdom of Patala regions. Something that's not human, literally. Now, natives, they look very pleasant, large, expressive, almond-shaped eyes, very refined features, smiling countenance, very popular with people, very, very popular, very charismatic, and they have a very long life, unless some other affliction or badly aspected. They're very long life. They're also very particular about their health, believe it or not. And time and again, a Rohini Nakshatra native will try to, either better their exercise regime or better their food habits. They're always working around that, okay? Very grounded. Earth Tattva. Prithvi Tattva, so very grounded people. And their sensuality is very earthy. When we speak about Taurus, we speak about that very earthy sensuality, touching and caresses, and very earthy. Okay, not so much here, it's here, Rohini is a source of food. You are literally what you put in your mouth. So the body becomes very important for a Rohini individual. Okay, using the body for pleasure, very earthy sensuality. Okay, uh, creative, very creative, high levels of productivity, high levels of productivity. They seek material security at all costs. If it somehow gets taken, they're not happy. Okay, they're not happy. Acquisitiveness, refinement, accumulating energy. They like to accumulate things. So, maybe they can, especially in the Cancer Navamsa, which is all about vintage yearnings, they may just, um, gather old bottles or vintage wine bottles or vintage caps or something like that. It's very accumulating. They have a lot of things in their house. Okay, Rohini natives in their house is always full of little things that they collect. A lover of fine things, I can't stress enough. So obviously indulgence could be a shadow. You love fine things, but do you know when to stop? Not necessarily. With the Rohini native, they may not necessarily know when to stop. They seek balance, they crave balance, they fight for balance, but it may be elusive to them. So, that's something they have to work towards. Idealism and love. Very idealistic Rohini natives. They seek that connection. They're very idealistic. They want that perfect beauty. They're so beautiful because Rohini herself is so beautiful that they want that perfect beauty, and they'll spend hours in front of the mirror grooming, practicing the way they smile, trying different kinds of makeup, just like trying to look beautiful. Even men, Rohini natives, they always look at each other, at themselves, not each other. They look at themselves and they always, they observe themselves for a very long time in the mirror. So some people may say, oh, they're narcissists. Some of them can be narcissists, but a lot of them are just literally observing themselves so they can better themselves. Okay, the way they smile, what is the best way to take a selfie? Is it this angle? Is it that angle? They're very concerned with the way they look. Okay, they're very idealistic about the concept of beauty. So oftentimes the Rohini native will be classically beautiful. That beautiful classical face, those aquiline features, those beautiful lips. They're just really into that. And of course, relationships, man, they are very idealistic about relationships. Okay, now in the text, the philosopher, the Vedic philosopher Varahamihira says that Moon and Rohini makes a native honest, pure, beautiful, steady minds, pleasant speech. The Jataka Parijata says enlightened but addicted to women, not his own. So I was just talking about sensuality. They can be very sensual, and this particular text says that they are addicted to women. It's addicted to love making, and not necessarily with their own wives. So they could cheat if there's an affliction there. The symbol is the chariot, the ox cart, a temple, a banyan tree, a fish. So just sitting under a banyan tree can be very healing for a Rohini individual. Very healing indeed. Lord Krishna was born in Rohini. So Janmashtami, which is actually his birthday, is celebrated in the 8th lunar day. Okay, when sun is in Leo and moon is in Taurus. So Lord Krishna has his sun in Leo and his moon in Rohini Nakshatra. So Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Kleem Krishnaya Namaha, Kleem Krishnaya Namaha. Told you moon in the Dasha avatars of Vishnu, moon is associated to Krishna. Okay, so I told you a bit about the mythology, right? And basically the thing that yes, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The thing that you must chant is Mahamrityunjaya Jap, because that is what the moon chanted 10 crore times to get back, to remove the curse that Daksha Prajapati put on him. So the mantra goes, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Purvaratwami Bhavandanar Mrityor Mokshiyam Amritatva. So that is the Mahamrityunjaya Jap. So the moon chanted 10 crore times. And then Lord Shiva appeared and he said, okay, I'm going to give you the waxing and the waning phase because I cannot refute Daksha Prajapati's curse. So you're going to wax and wane and wax and wane. So there was a particular place he had to do these 10 crore japas. It was Prabhas, okay, this place. And so this is how the moon literally got a boon from Lord Shiva. And not only this, Lord Shiva blessed the moon by saying that he will always be close to the moon with his Shakti Parvati. And this is how Lord Shiva established himself as Somnath. Somnath is one of the names of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is very lunar. You see the crescent, even Matangi actually. And Brahma Prajapati is a deity and his Shakti is Saraswati, and Saraswati is none other than Matangi. And all of them, Matangi and Shiva, not Saraswati, they have that beautiful crescent moon. So, Shiva established himself as Somnath because he gave his energy to the moon. Although the moon could not be radiant all the time and he was waxing and waning, but he had Shiva with him now. So, also the thing is that all the deities, they gathered around when Shiva, sort of released the curse. The deities got together and they created a kunda or a well. It's called Chandra Kunda. I don't know, it's crazy. Some kids are screaming downstairs. So, Chandra Kunda. All the deities created the Chandra Kunda. And Soma bathed in this kunda. And Soma bathed in this kunda, and that is how he became liberated from the curse. Okay? Now I told you that Gandha is guna of Prithvi Tattva. Smell. It's crazy. Now, another thing that I want to mention here is Rohini also symbolizes ascending as well as descending. It is called Arohana Shakti, which is the ascending part, and it is known as Abohana Shakti, which is the descending part. I guess we will have to wait. It's crazy. It's crazy. So this up and down movement, the Arohana and the Avahana, is actually the signification of the moon, the up and down and up and down, okay? It's a key component of the mind. And the signification of the mind astrologically is the moon. So you see how everything literally connects up. Rohini is feminine. Venus rules Taurus. Although in Vedic astrology they are both male, but they are very feminine. Venus is Shakti. Both Venus and Moon are Shakti. So Rohini becomes the material expression of Shakti. One who propitiates Rohini, that is worships this nakshatra correctly, his beloved unites with him. Thereby, a lot of love and spell work is done when the moon is in Rohini Nakshatra. lot of love spells, lot of, attraction spells, even attraction spells, Vashikaran, attraction also, that way you look beautiful. If you are doing Om Shrim, for instance, for beauty, Om Shrim Yam, the mantra I gave you, and you do this, especially energize your water with this mantra, when the moon is in Rohini Nakshatra, you will see that, you're looking so beautiful, you look so attractive, right? Again, passion, passion, sexuality, fertility, creativity. Okay, all of these are. Oh yeah, yes. Lord Balaram also does have a connection to Rohini. They can be very intolerant though, and very jealous. Very intolerant and very jealous. Okay, I told you that Krishna and Balaram are actually the same person. So Krishna is born in Rohini Nakshatra. So Balaram immediately gets, in fact, Krishna and Balaram are inseparable. We have Sudama, his friend, but Balaram and Krishna are one energy. Alright. Natives are fueled by desire. Alright. So the thing of the Rohini Nakshatra, and the Ganapati is Vigna Ganapati. Okay, Vigna Ganapati associated to Rohini Nakshatra. And I told you that serpents have a close association to Ganesha iconography. So immediately the association, invoking Ganapati will actually be very powerful for a Rohini Nakshatra person. Also this tremendous sexual desire. Okay, so I will end this particular broadcast. This is actually also a sponsored video, and this video is sponsored by my own father, because his nakshatra is Rohini Nakshatra. So Baba, this is for you. I mean, when my dad heard that I started the Nakshatra series, he was very keen that I get on his Nakshatra, and it happened to be the one that I was anyway going to do. I'm not doing them in any order. It's according to, how the commissions are coming through. So if you are interested to get a video about your Nakshatra, 30-40 minute video about your Nakshatra, then kindly email me, because I will break it down for you like you've never heard before. Okay, and before I go, I'm obviously going to chant one more time the Mahamrityunjaya jap, or the chant that cures the fear of death. Shiva himself is Mrityunjaya. So, Om Trayambakam. You do this every day. I'll be back again tomorrow with a completely different nakshatra video. I am thinking, I've got already Arudra, I've already got Arudra commission, I have got Satavisha commission, but I think I'll come with Arudra because it follows naturally, Ashlesha Arudra. So I'm going to come up with all of that. Let's see what I do tomorrow, but let me go now. I wish I could stay, but I have a lot of work. It's literally never ending. So thank you, Luca. Please do share with your friends and family if you like this content. Now let's end the broadcast with Mahamrityunjaya jap. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Purvaradwami Bhavandanar Mrityor Maksheyamamritatva. So that was possibly off tune, I don't know. But hey, I'm not a singer. I don't have, my nakshatra is not in Taurus. Although my bija is of the Vishuddha chakra. But my nakshatra is Satavisha, and that is gonna come up soon. It's one of the end nakshatras of Aquarius. But let's see, tomorrow possibly Arudra. And of course, I do also want to get back to the sun, moon, rising combinations. Luca, I'm so glad for you. You know, you really, really have been such a supporting pillar in my YouTube journey, and I will never forget you, Luca. I hope we meet someday, and you know you could come over and we could have a beautiful meal right here. But I'm off now, and I hope I have not yet created all of that. The Nakshatra. I've just got the commissions. I've got to sit and write it all out and channel it all out. So if you want your own Nakshatra video, email me. If you want to know more, email me. Anything at all, like, comment, subscribe, share. Thank you and speak soon. Bye.